Alright, what's going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here, back again with another series. That's right, a new series here on PlayStation Source. We are going to be doing, as the title suggests and as the intro that you just saw suggested, we are doing a Road to The Last of Us Part 2 series. And by we, I mean my co-host for this series, the Starks. The Starks, how you doing?
I'm well.
You well?
Thanks for having me. How about you? How are you doing?
Of course. Me, I'm chilling. I'm nice, relaxing, you know what I'm saying? Consistently thinking about Last of Us Part 2. That was the inspiration for this series, as me and you, very diehard Last of Us fans. Am I correct in that statement for you, sir?
You are indeed correct.
Definitely. Like, I feel like we both, whenever we're talking, we eventually just delve into Last of Us Part 2 stuff. We just eventually just happens like that. So we figured, why not collab, on a hopefully weekly basis, and have topics around Last of Us Part 2. And of course, the Starks, his channel will be linked in the description. He makes great content about Last of Us Part 2 and a bunch of other games as well, so make sure to go check out his channel. Link will be in the description. But sir, do you want to introduce the topic we have for episode 1, the inaugural Road to Part 2 series we have here? I think that's what I'm gonna call it. Road to Part 2. I like it. Because Road to Last of Us Part 2 is too long, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. For Thailand. I think Road to Part 2 is what they call it. Nice and sweet. But
yeah. So the topic for today, the first episode, is regarding the release date for The Last of Us Part 2, and both Kevin and I are going to speculate on when we think that The Last of Us 2 is going to come out. Indeed.
I
think we have different opinions regarding
a very divisive topic, one might say. So let's just lay it out, okay? Obviously, there is no confirmation of Last of Us Part 2 release date. That's why we're speculating, you know what I'm saying? But we do have some evidence out in the world that suggests either a release date of this year in 2019 or 2020. That's, I guess, the big divide, right? Is between 2019 and 2020. I don't think anyone really thinks that the game is coming out in 2021. I think that's a bit absurd. It's definitely not that far off, right? So I think definitely, I feel like if it was actually that far off, that'd be ridiculous. If we had, because when was Part 2 was unveiled? What, 2015? It was officially announced at PSX.
No, I believe it was 2016.
Was it PSX 2016? Really? I thought it was 2015. I'm looking right now, actually, at it. Let me see right now. Let me look through this wiki real quick. No I think it was PSX, dude. Oh wait, no, it wasn't. It was 2016. You're right. Yeah. It was. I'm sorry. Yep, it was December 3rd, 2016. Yeah,
I remember that because it was the first time I got this job. I have now,
so I just highly doubt that they would release. I mean, not release, but reveal Last of Us Part 2 in 2016 and have it not come out another 5 years later. I really doubt that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Even 2020 is a bit far, having 4 years in between initial release. I mean, not release, but announcing that it is a real thing to release date. That's even a bit much, but we're going to stick on the realm of, all right, 2019 or 2020. You know what I'm saying? These are the two realms of possibilities here, right? So, would you like to go first and claim your reasons as to why you are on team 2019? I'm sorry, my Snapchat going off. That is crazy. My bad.
Oh, good. Did you want me to list like everything I have?
Yeah. I mean, however you want to go. Convince me that Last of Us Part 2 is coming out 2019. Like, all right. Convince the boy. And also, may I preface here, just before we get into it, may I preface, I'm not here wanting the release to be 2020. I want the game as soon as I can. You know what I'm saying? Right. And obviously I don't have to worry about them rushing the game, because Naughty Dog, I feel, definitely does not rush their games. If they need to delay, if they need more time, they will take it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we're safe in that department. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my stance. So I'm not here trying to be like a negative Nancy, trying to hope that it's 2020, but I want it to be 2019. I just don't know if we're gonna get it there. But you have the floor, my good sir.
Fair enough. So
you have the floor.
Well, for me, I mean, I've done a lot of speculating on my my YouTube channel, and I've come up with some ideas. So, based off of previous work that Naughty Dog have done, specifically Uncharted 4, and this is not counting Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, just because I haven't really followed up on the start and finish time for that. But for Uncharted 4's mocap, they actually finished that on October 16, 2015, or at least Neil Druckmann had posted his tweet saying that they finished the mocap on October 16, 2015.
Does the tweet suggest that like it was just taken? Like, was it a setup shot? Like, is there any verbiage in there that says that all right, it was that day when he tweeted it? You know what I'm saying?
I've been trying to do, like, every time Neil Druckmann posts a photo, like, and talking about mocap, I always try to take it as though the photo was taken a while back, but I'm actually not sure. I mean, it sounded like they probably finished the day of, because he was saying, I think he tagged Nolan North and said, you should be proud of your work and whatnot. So it sounded like they literally just finished that same week or even day in which you posted it. So
right.
I want to say yeah, but you never know, right?
I mean, I guess also like regardless if, let's say that shot was taken like early October and you posted it like a week later, that doesn't change a lot of the fact that, all right, in October of 2015, mocap was done for the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I think that's a safe. Even if there's like a few days or a week or two from initial shooting of that picture to posting, it's a safe 2015 October was when it was done.
Right. So
yep.
Based off of the math, I counted from October to May, and that resulted in 7 months later. So, which obviously Uncharted 4 came out May 10th of 2016. So for The Last of Us, they finished mocap with Ellie and Joel, as well as they shot the last scene April 16 and April 18, or at least these are when the two posts on Twitter was done by Neil Druckmann. So if you count 7 months, that leaves you around November time. However, we have to consider that Uncharted 4 had a strange development, because they had so many people leaving from what was it?
Amy
Hennig,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that whole thing,
they had that Todd Stashwick, who was supposed to play Nathan Drake's brother, who also left the project. You had a bunch of designers leaving and multiplayer guys leaving. So Uncharted 4 had a very, very rocky development process.
Yeah, and then also like to even add to your claim here and like point also, I was watching actually recently one of the Uncharted 4 documentaries, whatever, and in that, Neil has definitely been on record multiple times, not only in that documentary, but also like on Twitter and stuff like that. And I think it was actually recently, like the Uncharted 4 anniversary. I believe he tweeted recently of this recording. I think we can go probably look at Twitter and go find that tweet. But it was when it was the anniversary of Uncharted 4. He was saying that like this was the most difficult game that he's ever worked on, being Uncharted 4. You know what I'm saying? And that was because he like kind of had to jump straight off of Last of Us, which was his baby, right? Like Last of Us 1, he was the main director. You know what I'm saying? Amy Hennig was kind of the main lead of narrative and stuff like that on Uncharted 4. However, when that Uncharted 4 thing all happened and Amy left and all that, and everyone else left around Amy, he kind of jumped on that project to write at home and to finish out Uncharted 4. So even taking that account, that's just telling that Uncharted 4 that definitely had a rough development cycle for sure.
Exactly. You can even talk about the first ever teaser trailer that we got. Like that whole narrative just washed away completely.
Yeah.
In terms of the whole map and seeking revenge type of vibe. So if you count that's 7 months, which is more than half a year. You have to consider some of those months definitely went into reshaping some of the initial and new vision for Uncharted 4, because I think Amy Hennig, I don't know if she's ever spoke about what her plans were for Uncharted 4, but it seemed as though Sam wanted to seek revenge against Nathan Drake or somebody, right? So
yeah, I'm pretty sure originally, and this is probably its own video, its own thing, but I'm pretty sure she wanted Sam to be a villain.
Yeah, which would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
I mean, that obviously didn't happen on Uncharted 4. But So if you count that, 7 months is a long time. However, if you cut 2 months back, we get it in September time. And the reason why I think September works is because, one, September is Outbreak Day for The Last of Us, and
that was no, so, I mean, right now we're laughing because while we were before we even started recording, we had a big like aha moment of like there was a, I'm sure you'll talk about right now. If you want to just actually roll into that, go ahead. Yeah, about that.
All right, so I think Outbreak Day we know is September 26th, right?
Indeed.
So there was also a leak about how, or I guess this speculation, how The Last of Us 2 might come out on the 27th, which is on a Friday. And we all know that games nowadays, from my understanding, don't come out on Tuesdays, they come out on Fridays.
Yeah.
So I think we can get The Last of Us Part 2 on September 27th, the day after Outbreak Day. Another reasoning behind it is obviously God of War came out in April of 2018, and then Spider-Man came out on September, I believe it was, of 2018. I think it was September.
So yeah, pretty sure.
Right?
Yeah,
I think it was. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'll do a quick check while you're talking, but I'm pretty sure.
Right, and so I mean, we all know that Days Gone came out April of this year, and so I think another big PlayStation exclusive game
was
to come
September,
out would be
September 7th, by the way. It was September.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, those are my reasonings for it. I think that makes a lot of sense. 5 months seems like a very low time for after mocap finishes, especially for a big, ambitious company like Naughty Dog. But let's be real here. The Last of Us has been worked on for at least over 2 years now. I mean, I'm pretty sure Neil Druckmann himself.
A lot more than 2 years. A lot more.
Yeah,
than 2 years, for sure.
Like 3 to 4. I wouldn't say 4, but like at least 3 years.
I mean, we can probably speculate. Okay, so we can probably speculate on that, right? So I believe Uncharted is a big enough studio. I think this is safe to say that they're split up into 2 main teams, right? I think ever since the release of Lost Legacy, I believe now they're all on one cohesive team working towards Part 2, right?
Right.
But I think back when they were still working on Uncharted, I believe they
had 2 teams.
Yeah, they had 2 teams because I think that was
also talked about in the documentary. I'm pretty sure that was also talked about in there.
Right. Yeah. So that definitely makes sense. So you gotta think whenever Lost Legacy shipped is, I guess, when they have been all working as a cohesive unit as a whole studio, unless they're working on something new, a new IP, whatever, that we can talk about. But as far as we're aware, right now I believe they have the full team working on Part 2. You know what I'm saying? And that's been since Lost Legacy, which came out 2016.
No, it was 2017.
2017.
I believe it was August.
It was August. Damn. There you go. August 22nd, 2017. It was.
Is that true?
It is.
Oh,
okay. It is. I remember because that was when I first moved into this apartment and I was streaming, and it was so weird, like streaming somewhere that wasn't my house. But yeah.
So that means August of 2017 was the last game that Naughty Dog has ever put out, including the last like real DLC update. Unfortunately, they do not support Uncharted 4's multiplayer whatsoever, because I play it actively, actually. And
no, you talk mad trash about it on Twitter.
I mean, I'm kind of disappointed because I love their multiplayers, and I feel like after the one big update from the Survival, that was a huge update, and I appreciate that. But then they did the Lost Legacy. They added new features to the multiplayer as well as new characters, and then that's it. So it's been almost 2 years since. This August will mark 2 years since they've done anything or any type of content. So I think we can get The Last of Us, a year, 2 years, and 1 month later.
Right. So let's kind of break down what we can garner through evidence from Twitter and different other sources of where Last of Us Part 2 is kind of at in development. Right now, this is also coming from 2 people that have 0 experience in actual game development, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if you've worked on the game.
No, so I have. After this call, I will send 2. Well, you have to download the program, but I've made 2 video games before. I have. Yeah.
Okay,
I wanted to be a game developer before what the program I'm doing now, which is policing. But
my apologies.
No, it's okay. I mean, they're terrible games, but hey, they're games.
Hey man, game's a game. But anyway, right? So Last of Us Part 2, right? What we know of right now, is through 2 tweets from Neil Druckmann. Okay, so he tweeted this on April 16th. Tweet is up on screen. You can read it right now. And of course, if you are a fan of Last of Us and definitely follow Last of Us Part 2 development, you very much probably well know of these tweets and everything. But here we go, right? So on April 16th, he tweeted out, "Just shot this scene, so sad face," right? It says cut to black. It's a script. It says the end, right? So we are led to believe that on April 16th, and there's a few tweets in this week. The one prior was a tweet with Logic and someone else suggesting that Logic was mocapping in the game. That's a whole different thing, but like,
you know who that looks like?
Who?
Sorry, not to cut you off. That looks like Laura Bailey's husband. I don't think it is, but it kind of looks like her husband.
Oh,
who's also in the game.
The other Laura guy that's standing next to Logic.
Yeah. The other guy looks like Laura because I follow Laura Bailey and I've seen her husband before. He kind of looks like her. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, so presumably him, but like I felt that wasn't that necessary to this video, just because like that was just like random mocap. That's not telling of where they're at really. Just that they are mocapping. But so presumably on April 16th, according to the tweet, they shot the final. Well, they shot the end of Last of Us Part 2, right? The tweet after that, April 18th, he says, "And that's a wrap on Ellie, Joel, and the most ambitious cinematic shoot we've ever done. Tears were shed. Hashtag Last of Us Part 2. So we have, the boy, Troy Baker, and the gal, I don't know why I said that's so weird, Ashley Johnson, of course, Joel and Ellie, respectively. So they have shot the most ambitious cinematic shoot they've ever done. Leading to, I think that this could be a lot of different things, and maybe this is a whole dedicated episode as to what this scene is and what it entails. Probably talk for hours on that, but that was done. And I believe this was a separate tweet, but it was confirmed that they are officially done with mocap. I don't know if it was that specific picture of Joel and Ellie. If you want to check on that for me and make sure I'm keeping my ducks in a row, but
So you're tying the mocap one, right, with Troy and Ashley?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try and see if Neil Druckmann ever tweeted that mocap was done, officially. I know we know it's done.
See, and that's why I'm kind of spec, because obviously with mocap, you still have to have performances for multiplayer, which I think kind of ties into what Anthony Newman was saying with his tweet. I don't know if we're going to get into that, but I think they will be done, because he said that they just the most ambitious cinematic shoot we've ever done, tears were shed, and 2 days before he said that we just shot the final scene, the end of whatever script they have.
Yeah.
So I think we can make the assumption that they are pretty much done with mocap, with the exception of a few maybe reshoots or lines or multiplayer stuff. But other than that, I think we're done.
Right. So I guess we can safely say here that mocap is done on April of 2019. Right. I think that's a safe thing to say. Right.
Oh yeah.
So to again give credence and credit to your point, right? 7 months away from April is November, right? So that would still make it land in the 2019 realm of release dates. But my biggest thing here is that we had a tweet here that was on May 10th, about 11 days ago, as of this recording, by Anthony Newman. He says, "Lots of awesome positions open to help us close out this game. I especially want to highlight the melee animator position. I guarantee you'll be working on some dope animations working with my good friend at Lethal." And so he posted a bunch of open positions for Naughty Dog. So the fact that they are still hiring for this, and to be fair, he doesn't say Last of Us, but obviously he's talking about Last of Us Part 2, help us close out this game. Obviously Last of Us, related. So for him for not just him, but Naughty Dog in general to still be hiring at this point, I don't know if 2019 even feel I just don't see it. I just don't see it at this point. You know what I'm saying? If they are still hiring to work on the game, right? They are either doing insane crunch right now to get it out in 2019, or they know and they're just trying their hardest to get out in 2019, but they know, I think in their hearts, that they aren't going to. Like, for example, to cite Raising Kratos, Cory Barlog and the homies knew that they were not going to hit that April date in January. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, they know a few months before that, all right, this game is not going to be finished. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, God of War, Last of Us Part 2, 2 different games, 2 different studios. I get that, but nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? I think you know if you're not gonna hit the date.
So
I don't know.
Okay, so the reason fair enough. The reason why I don't think it's gonna, because for me, I don't see The Last of Us Part 2 coming out anywhere between December to until April, because I feel like April and beyond for 2020 is a perfect date for The Last of Us to come out. But from December to March, I just don't think those are realistic times, because if you think about it, okay, 7 months from April would be November, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say the game doesn't come out in November. That means and let's say they say maybe February or something. That's like 8-9. That's almost a year after mocap, which just seems absolutely ridiculous. So I think this tweet is more so a crunch time tweet, right? Or maybe it's something to throw us fans off, to make it seem like they're still, I mean, I guess I that's a little silly of Anthony to post if that's true, but I'm sure they're opening, or they're open to hiring more employees, but it could be something to throw us off a bit, as well as I think this is specifically for multiplayer. The reason is there's many different divisions in a game in a development process, right? Like we obviously know Neil Druckmann, Sean Escage, and a lot of other people work on just specifically the mocap and story. And in the meanwhile, you have concept artists, right? You have programmers working to flesh out the game. You have gameplay designers, you have environmental artists. I'm just reading off the list here, but pretty much you have all sorts of different divisions where people are working on the game. So the fact that if this is implying that they need people to help animate, for the campaign, that would totally lose me, and I'd be very, very, I guess, worried about The Last of Us Part 2 actually being as clean as it looked when they showed it off, because if this is actually positions for the campaign to help animate melee animations for the campaign, I'll be amazed at that, because I just don't think it makes any sense. I think this is specifically for multiplayer, because we obviously know big people like Robert Cogburn and Quentin Cobb are not working on. They're not working at Naughty Dog anymore, which means that's just two out of many, but two instrumental individuals at Naughty Dog who aren't there anymore for specifically the multiplayer. I know David Ballard, who actually follows me on Twitter. I don't know if he worked specifically on multiplayer, but I know he was a part of the Naughty Dog team. He's not on Naughty Dog either, right? So I think they're looking for more multiplayer based. Because I don't know if this makes sense to you, but I just don't think this is for the campaign. I'd be amazed if it is.
Also, I mean, to even talk, like, maybe, just maybe, this is DLC, right? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, maybe, he says helped close out the game. Maybe, there might be a little bit of work to be done on Last of Us Part 2, so that they are prepping for the presumed 2019 release date months, either September, October, November, whatever. But maybe they are working on a little Left Behind-esque type DLC, I mean, perhaps. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Likely.
I don't know.
Because in my opinion, I definitely don't think that. I think what they really want to do specifically for The Last of Us, because I think it's going to be one of the best-selling PlayStation games out there. I think it's going to be critically acclaimed. I think it's going to be really, really great. And I think one thing they don't want...
Now that I'm talking, I'm totally talking out of context. I'm going to make that another episode, like predictions, like what do we think it's going to do. But you can continue.
Oh, all right, no problem. But my thing is, I think what they don't want, obviously they don't want this, is show the lack of because obviously for Uncharted 4, right, they had so many issues. They had people leaving left, right, and center, and that caused a lot of controversy. There was a lot of content creators out there, worried about Uncharted 4, and I think that might have been something that a lot of fans purchasing the game kind of considered, right? The fact that it had a very rough around the edge development process. And obviously they don't want The Last of Us to be shown as something that's rough around the edge, because they want people to look at this game and really invest their all to it. They want whatever they're building, their multiplayer and campaign, to be one of the best PlayStation games out there. And I don't blame them, you know what I mean? Which is why they're not announcing things, which is why they're not showing so much things. And I appreciate that, I really do. But I think this game is very, very close to being complete. I just think they want to make sure that they have all their corners checked and in line before they announce anything officially. Because if you look at the roadmap, there was a lot of crap, I'm sorry to say, that was shown in the roadmap, and I don't think that they fully followed the roadmap for Uncharted 4's multiplayer. I know I'm talking about multiplayer a lot, but this is just an example.
No, of course, for sure.
So I don't know. I think that could definitely be something, because obviously you don't want your game to look like it had a development time and whatnot. So.
Right. I mean, okay. I want The Last of Us Part 2 to come out 2019, right? I think it'd be a great game to end off 2019. I think, not that Days Gone is bad, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like, Days Gone is no God of War. Days Gone is no Horizon Zero Dawn. Days Gone is no Uncharted 4. Days Gone is certainly no Last of Us. You know what I'm saying? So to have like a Last of Us Part 2 come out in 2019, to kind of have like, yes, like this is PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? Days Gone's good. I like Days Gone, but I love Last of Us. You know what I'm saying? So, and also, I think that with the PS5 coming out next year, right? And as you know, the wait, what?
I hope not.
You hope not? Oh, dude, I think it's coming out for sure. I think it's coming out for sure fall 2020. I think November 2020 is definitely PS5 time. But
all right, fair enough.
In the same year that we had the new console release of the PS4 back in 2013, Last of Us was released in June of 2013, June or July, but I'm pretty sure it was June of 2013.
June.
Yeah, I know it was around E3. It was right after E3, or I think the week of E3. But which is an odd time to release that game. But I mean, like, I like the summer release of Last of Us, but I don't know how well it, like, I just don't like it how it came out around E3, like very close to E3. Very, very weird. But beside the point, the PS4 came out later on that year in November. You know what I'm saying? So it was like kind of like the PS3's last hurrah. Like the PS3's last, like, all right, we're gonna close out this generation with this incredible new IP by an established studio that has made your favorite trilogy on PlayStation, and this is what they're doing.
Right.
And so I think they could potentially do the same thing here with the PS4 era, and I don't think that it'll be any big difference of the same kind of role it's playing in the end of a generation if it's in 2019 or 2020. You know what I'm saying? Even though it would be technically, if we're following that same formula as the original Last of Us, it would be like in like June of 2013. I mean, wow, what am I saying? June of 2020. Technically, if we're following the 2020, the November 2020 release date of PS5. But overall, so I mean, just kind of like wrap up my thesis on this. I would love it to come out this year. I just don't see it.
Name a month. Name a month that you think for 2020 it'll come out.
Oh man.
And don't say January.
No, I won't. I think if it's coming out in 2020, I think it's gonna take the infamous like first half. So I definitely think it's either February, March, or April.
Okay.
Right. It's either February, March, or April. I think April. I want to say February. You would say April?
Okay. I'd say April. If for 2020, I'd say April. However, I don't say 2020. But
indeed. I will say February 2020.
All right. Yeah. So we'll mark that. And for me, of course, like I've been saying, I think fall 2019 is when we're going to get The Last of Us. However, I think September 27th is when we're gonna get The Last of Us Part 2. And actually, I think that where I live, I'm pretty sure the second or third week of September marks fall. I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, it lands in fall. So, yeah, the 27th of September 2019 is when I think The Last of Us Part 2 is going to come out.
All right. There we go.
I think that wraps up the first episode.
I think that's what it is. All right. But most importantly, let me know and let, of course, Starks know in the comments below. When do you think Last of Us Part 2 is releasing? Do you think, are you on Team 2019? Are you on Team 2020? This is a great civil war that's happening here. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And Starks, where can the people find you online, all that good stuff?
So I have a YouTube channel where I post different things from PlayStation to The Last of Us news. So you can follow me at the Starks over on YouTube, or you can follow me on Twitter where I post different things pertaining to everything PlayStation and gaming related. So yeah.
All right, there we go. And of course, you can find me at the KDS123 down below. Wow, the KDS123 down below at Twitter. That was a stroke right there. But also down below in the description, you can find our PlayStation Source official links, where you can find our Twitter, our Discord, and of course, make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll be doing this weekly. This may be a Wednesday series, perhaps. Seems like a good day, you know what I'm saying? But we will definitely be doing these hopefully weekly, on a weekly rotation basis, covering anything about Last of Us Part 2. And if you have any suggestions on any topics you want us to cover, leave it down below in the description. And as well as if you want, tweet at us or go on our Discord and suggest it there in the chats. But thank you all for watching, and as always,
greatness awaits.
I was like, is he gonna say it?
Sorry, this is trolling.